Hello and welcome to another Chit Chat with Lorly. So with this little chit chat, I'm going to start off with a question to you. Do you see yourself as a creative person? Or do you feel like your creativity long since got put on the shelf somewhere? And when you consider what a creative person is your definition of that limited to somebody who's in the fine arts? Like someone who's a sculptor or a painter or a musician, that's what creativity means. So my invitation to you, and what I'm going to chat about today, is to expand that definition a little bit broader, to see that perhaps there are things within you that you don't even think about, you just take them for granted, qualities that actually are, in fact, creative expressions, that you're not looking at it that way, and hence not valuing it that way either. So my perspective is that we all are inherently very creative. We all have the capacity to create far more than we even think. We're born that way. And when we start school at the age of 5 or 6 in this country, of this lovely educational system, that one of the very first things that goes within the first 3 years of grade school is the creativity. I've read stats or studies about how within the first 3 years, the majority of people's or students' creativity, their imagination, their ability to come up with all kinds of ideas and think outside the box, that is immediately squelched, thanks to our great system of education. And then by the time the students are done with grade school, that amount of creativity is even further squelched and been hijacked in more and more students. And then by the time they hit high school, or when they finish high school, then very few students have much creativity left intact in them. And so then we wonder why we have gotten these beliefs about how we're not creative, when it's been squelched from day one, as soon as we started school, which in my opinion is really one of the problems with the way the educational system in our country, in the United States, is set up. However it came to be, we absorbed all these thoughts about ourselves, that we're not creative, we can't do this, I can't think of some other solution, or I'm not good. And so we question ourselves, and then we rely on the opinions of others to see if we're okay and acceptable, because we feel like our worth and our creativity has gone down the drain. So I really invite you to really look at that and to see if that is also playing out in your life, which I'm kind of thinking it is if you're in the same country as me. You went through the same public educational system. So really look at what things do you do that you don't even think about it. It's just so natural and automatic to you that other people may not be able to do that as easily, or they may see it as a creative thing, that because it's so automatic and for you, that you don't see it as that as creative. You know, another thing that I feel like has happened in the way our creativity has been squelched as children is that, so by the time we start to get a job, then we're kind of herded and molded into this thing of be a good little employee and learn this skill and this trade that is required to do this particular job. And outside of that box of that skill set required, then you don't need to think about or worry about anything else. In my opinion, that's one of the biggest ways that our creativity stays stifled, because we're taught to stay in this box of this skill or this trade, this profession, and that's all you do for the rest of your life, rather than going out and self-educating yourself, which more and more people are doing now anyway, because they're finding that old educational system doesn't work. The thing that I have found is that in wanting to shift things around and develop more financial stability and affluence for myself, in developing a lifestyle where my income producing activities or my career does not dictate and dominate everything. I've had to really question a lot of this stuff about my beliefs, about my creativity and my worth, and really revamp a lot of that. Because those things are very required, or inherently required, in being able to know that you can step out of the security blanket of the W-2 paycheck, or every paycheck every week, 2 weeks or month, to know that you can generate your own income and stand on your own 2 feet without having to be dependent on a paycheck. When you can do that, then your self-esteem and your worth like blossoms and takes off. Whereas in a corporate job or any job type of a situation, then you're told how much you're paid, and we interpret that as that's what I'm worth. And creativity and inherent traits that we have really don't come into question as much as the skill set of can you do X, Y, and Z. So I invite you to really rethink that and look at, if you were creative, what would you do? And if you knew the answer already, what would that creative expression be? What kind of things do you like to share with people that expresses you, your authentic essence, what you feel to be really truthful, what you feel really passionate about, of how you'd want to convey or what you'd want to share with people? Those are the types of things that, when we can look at them as seeing that is the fodder for our own creativity and our own imagination, then you can develop that, put more energy and focus on it, and it can take you into all kinds of different directions, give you ideas of all kinds of things that you could do that you could then monetize, which would help you learn how to create your own income stream so you're not so tied to and dependent on the paycheck and all of its stressful miseries that can accompany it. So I'd like to hear from you. What do you feel like your creative gifts are? What would you like them to be? What would you do with them? So I'd love to hear from you and share your ideas about creativity and developing them. And I look forward to hearing from you soon. Thanks so much.